swagger, okay? Regardless of what happens out there. Doesn't matter. Keep your swagger.
Hey, welcome in to the 5-Volt Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I am Alan, your Luton Fu, and I am here with the Week 23 script, one of the last of the year. It's weird. For a lot of you, it's the last, unless you just want to tune in and listen anyway next week if you don't play Week 24. But yeah, here with teams and streams for targeting for the upcoming week, news and updates from around the league. And as always, before we get going, make sure to plug in somehow, Twitter, Discord, DM us if you don't want to kind of dox yourself, trying to get those final details hammered out for the week. And make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already, and wherever you get your fine podcast from. And before we get going, as always, man, this just a reminder, there can be only one. It sucks sometimes, but like a great fictional character once said, you can commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not it's not failure. It's not weakness, that is life. But yeah, moving on into the show storylines. I don't know. Just someone to definitely keep an eye on watch list, especially if you play next week. But Bobby the McMahon, 11 points in 8 games since starting to play with the Kraken, because there was that like 3-4 game period where he was getting visa stuff worked out. He's shooting about 3 shots a game. Check. His time on ice is looking good. When he first started, he was getting around 18 time on minutes, but his last 3 games getting like 20 plus. So yeah, check. Obviously unsustainable. And this is also, this will look completely different from in a week from now, but the dude is running 100% IPP since he joined the Kraken with a 30% shooting rate. Yeah, that's totally sustainable in any world. And big headline that came out today, Porter Martone signed his 3-year ELC with the Flyers. Could be someone to watch for the weekend. A lot of hype around this guy. 2025 6th overall pick, 50 points in 35 games for Michigan State as a freshman. And then the year before that in the juniors, he had 98 points in 57 games in the OHL. So of note here, some prospects dip when they play college, as there's less time and space to make your moves, and they can face older / stronger opponents. He was one of the most productive freshmen. So this is, I don't know, he's looking good, looking bright coming in if he plays this week. So the hype is around his size and actual playmaking ability. So my first comparable here, I was thinking Slavkovsky of the Habs. So yeah, maybe someone able to make an impact right away, big guy with some playmaking ability. But it looks like the comparables here is he could range anywhere from like a Tom Wilson player to a kind of Matthew Tkachuk, Mikko Rantanen light player. Definitely someone to maybe watch list. Dynasty leagues, you probably know much more about him than I do, but yeah, someone to keep an eye on for rest of the week here. Well, back half of the week. So injuries. Nikita Kucherov missed yesterday's game with illness. Never fear, though, because I'm checking my notes here. Emil Lilleberg absorbed his talent a la Space Jam, had a 3-point game on a hair short of 15 minutes time on ice. Am I telling you to go grab him for a Hail Mary today? Absolutely not. If there's anyone you pick up, I could recommend, even like Gage Consalvis, I would say pick up before Lilleberg. Charles Edouard Destu, I would say pick up before Lilleberg, unless you're in an incredibly deep league, at which point you're probably way ahead of me here. But this dude has 5 points in his last 3, including 2 yesterday. And these updates came in just before the show started here. Crosby and Malkin still day-to-day, but both did practice in full contact jerseys. And Crosby will definitely travel for tomorrow, Monday's game. Malkin is still TBD as of a few minutes before the show here. Now for some returns, Mikko Rantanen returned yesterday. I'm sure, assumes line 1, power play 1, no questions about where he sat in the lineup. Troy Terry returned for the Ducks last night. Perfect timing, especially going into this week. Right back to line one, power play one. And then last up here, Shane Gossesbear also returned back on power play one. And then that bumps down Nikishin to power play two. Keandre Miller, Sean Walker, like both off both units, like no power play time. They're pretty much category coverage plays at this point. Now, getting into the schedule here. So we're normal week, thank goodness. A lot more friendlier to try and stream. So Monday we got 5 games, Wednesday 3, Friday 2, and Sunday 7 games. And then our busy days, the typical busy days, Tuesday you have 10 games, Thursday 14, Saturday 15. We're all gonna have points on the bench some of those days there. But best schedules. So games played leaders. Probably theme of the show here. Pens have 5 games, 2 off nights though. So and we'll get into this here, but I feel like we'll get in this a little bit, but I feel like this is kind of maybe a trap schedule. I'm not 100% sure that Pens may be the best team to stream from, but hey, we'll to each their own. If you just want to maximize games played period, that's the way to go. Get what Pens you can. Off nights leaders, you got St. Louis with a perfect schedule, 4 games, all on the off nights. And then absolutely worth mentioning, Anaheim and Colorado, 4 games, 3 off nights. So easiest schedules. I do like the teams I just mentioned here, Anaheim and Colorado. So Colorado, you got versus Calgary, versus Vancouver. Definitely a couple of games where they could run up the scoreboard. At Dallas, and then versus St. Louis, who's been very stingy defensively, actually. I think last 2 weeks, I think I saw St. Louis had the lowest goals against per game. So it could be a trap game there of some kind. And then Anaheim versus Toronto at San Jose, which with Askarov out long term, Ned's been just terrible, to put it bluntly. So yeah, a couple of games there again could run up the scoreboard versus St. Louis and then versus Calgary. The worst schedules. So again, this is something went over in the shutdown shift. Probably guys, I've already seen some of these guys get dropped. Like last night is some in one league, like the top 2 teams had their buys this week. So last night I saw Vejmelka get dropped. I think I saw Sergachev get dropped actually, which is nuts. I feel like Sergachev might have been one of the kind of untouchable guys on Utah, but again, to each their own. If they win, does it really matter? But again, these are 2 teams here. You might want to consider, who really is going to help you when they do play the Thursday, Saturday. I mean, Nashville, I think you should hang on to EOC, hang on to Forsberg. Pretty much everyone else. Soros, maybe he gets 1 game, maybe 2. I think everyone else might just be a drop at this point to maximize. Maybe you drop him tonight, Sunday, or Monday morning, and then they might be available on the waiver or on the wire back on Thursday. But Utah, keep Keller. I think Sergachev is someone worth hanging on to. After that, though, I think we could probably drop Nick Schmaltz, some of these other guys here. But yeah, again, strategy here. Like I've been saying the last couple weeks, I would say set your week before you make any pickups. See what you need first. Like Tuesday isn't as busy as it was last week, so you may be able to pick someone up that you could get in on Tuesday. These heavy days are heavy. This is another week where, again, maybe streaming a D, streaming a goalie might be in points leagues really might be more beneficial to you than more forwards. Maximizing stream. So a couple ways to kind of approach this first half of the week, though. The Canucks and Sharks play Monday, Wednesday, Thursday to start the week. I don't know how much I trust them really to score, especially the Canucks. So Canucks, probably some. I've been shouting the horn for a little bit here to drop Elias Pettersson. If you want to at your own risk, because let me check out these first 2 games here. Because I think it was like Vegas and then Colorado and then Minnesota. No, thank you. I know that Vegas has kind of not been Vegas lately, but yeah, I don't know if even if you could grab Elias Pettersson, the best person on that team, that's really going to make a significant difference for you. But again, he could be the best player on the wire as you're going through. But Ducks and Blues could be week-long holds, or again after Monday, Wednesday, you could flip them. Flyers are the only team that play the Thursday, Friday, Sunday, but they play. Yeah, what was it here? Yeah, Detroit, the Isles, Boston. I don't know if honestly if that's really worth picking up. I mean, if Vladar for 1-2 starts, yes, his rate stats have been really good for a team that doesn't win all the time. But yeah, I'd say maybe double down on St. Louis heading into the back half of the week. So streams here, tier 1, obviously I got to put the Pens in here. I don't know about streaming their goalies, but they are third in goals for per game over the last 2 weeks and second in shooting percentage. Hopefully that shooting percentage holds. Their schedule does make me nervous though, because as we let me scroll back up here, as we see, it's at the Isles versus Dallas, at Tampa, and then 2 home and home games against the Panthers, which Panthers, I don't know, Pittsburgh could walk away with 4 points or no points. We never know which version of that team we're going to get right now. I think that Florida Rangers game, that Panthers Rangers game is still 0-0. Oh, Rangers just scored. Okay. And yeah, nothing that really helps me there, unfortunately. But yeah, Erik Karlsson, man, talk about turning back the clock. You're probably not getting him unless someone panic dropped him, which is very unlikely. 16 points in 8 games. Some signs of overachieving though. That shooting percentage running really hot, 21.9 over the last 10 games. And then his season wide 5-on-5 goals for 69, very nice. Significantly higher than his expected goals for 58, like not just 1 or 2 off. That's a pretty sizable deviation there. He's running a 78.3 IPP over the last 10 games. And again, IPP is if someone scores a goal, you either were the goal scorer or got an assist on it somehow. Your superstar / top defenseman run 55 to 65%. And this is all while his time on ice hasn't really changed. But yeah, credit to Dan Muse for just unlocking what Erik Karlsson used to be there. And especially right now, being down Crosby, being down Malkin, I mean, you can use him in the same way that the Ottawa Senators back in the day would have used him as just like your go-to guy. So top 6 at practice this morning was, and this is with Crosby and Malkin back. That top line was Mantha, Crosby, Raquel. And then second line, they're still sticking them together. Chinikov, Novak, Malkin. Rust did appear to be a maintenance day, which should bump Mantha back down to the third line, and then likely power play 2 as some of these guys come back. But yeah, Mantha, Chinikov, Mantha's 35, Chinikov 19%. Those are the guys to target. I would say Mantha, then Chinikov, even if Mantha's bumped back down to line 3, power play 2. He just gets some really good matchups down there. It's been working for him. Again, just an incredible free agent signing for the Pens this season. Dude's having himself a season. If Crosby and Malkin still kind of missing some term, I would look for Ben Kindle to get an increased role. Looks like he was on power play 1 yesterday. Highly doubt that sticks if you get one of Crosby or Malkin back though. And then just go check on Ricky Rax, 61%. I don't think anyone would have dropped him recently, but you never know. So next team here on tier 1, St. Louis, repping. Goals for is 8th worst the last 2 weeks, but you got to love that schedule. And that top line is really what's doing the heavy lifting. That shooting percentage is bottom 10 the last 2 weeks. So there's room for these guys to actually pan out. Like the Rangers who were on fire going into the week you needed them, pulled an avatar, and when you needed them most, they vanished. But Snuggie, as I'm calling him, Jimmy Snuggerud, 25%, is likely how you're getting into that top line. 5 points in his last 6. He checks the box for me on that at least 3 shots a game. I would still just go check on Rob Thomas and Dylan Holloway, but they're both mostly owned. And looks like they were actually running a true top power play yesterday, but some other guys to consider here. Broberg was on the unit with Rob Tom, Holloway, Snuggie, and Jake Neighbors. The majority of the power play time on ice was them. And then Broberg has 4 points in his last 6. Mayu, he got stuck with power play 2, but he also has 4 points in his last 6 and gives you a little bit of category coverage. Cam Fowler, like when they were splitting the units, he was on like the cool power play 2. But looks like he was on neither unit yesterday, and he's got 1 point in his last 6 if you really want to get deep there. And then last up in tier 1, Anaheim here. And they're running middle of the pack. I mean, they dropped off quite a bit just that one game yesterday, but they were running middle of the pack in goals for per game and shooting percentage over the last 2 weeks. So probably running pretty sustainable. They got some good pieces, I think. And again, as a nice early stream for the week here. Troy Terry did return yesterday. I would say just go check on him. He might be the guy to go grab as far as any sort of sustainable production. 43% owned, 7 points in his last 6. And now Mikhail Granlund here, 26% is the high risk, high reward play here. 7 goals in 7 games and 4 of those on the power play. Totally sustainable. He's only shooting about 2 shots a game. And then Chris Kreider, also kind of like a high risk, high reward play. 26%. He has 6 points in his last 7. Only 1 goal on his last 13 shots in that span. So he's a little due. Line 1 power play. Well, no, he's not line 1 anymore. That's Troy Terry. Or wait, no. I'm sorry. I'm goofing. No, I think he is. I'm going to check here. I think he's left wing on line 1. I'm thinking of Troy Terry bumped at. Yeah, I'm thinking Troy Terry bumping down Bennett Seneca again. So yeah, another guy to just go check on. Beckett Seneca. 42%. Yeah, line 2 bumped off a power play 1 with the return of Troy Terry. And that takes me to tier 2 here. Colorado, 4th worst in shooting percentage over the last 2 weeks, so they're due, but that streamer selection there is not great, which is why I always tend to put them in tier 2 here. Their power play, though, seems to have improved on the season. They're not dead last, but they're still bottom 5 I saw this morning. But first up, Gabe Landeskog, maybe off power play 1, but he is still line 1, 40%. A bunch of guys to just go check on. Valerie Nichushkin, of course, 53%. Arturi Lehkonen, again, just go check on him, 48%. Yeah, has more value than I thought, though. Looks like that top line yesterday or going into yesterday was Landeskog, McKinnon, Lehkonen. Time on ice is rough, though. 12 minutes in his first game back, 15 minutes yesterday. And even someone who's probably pretty available typically, Brent Burns, just go check territory. But he is shooting 3 shots a game in his last 7. And then I think this is probably the categories or heavy bangers weight play here. Parker Kelly, if you need someone for hits, 27 in his last 7 games. I think he's even got 3 points in that last 6-7. And then San Jose, probably the last tier 2 team here. And they're really the last team I'd like to mention. But the Sharks are only really worth mentioning as they have the Monday, Wednesday, probably worth dumping after that. They're around the bottom 5 in goals for per game and shooting percentage in the last 2 weeks. This is strictly more of a schedule play. Dmitry Orlov seems to be holding down that top power play, although I think John Klingberg is injured too. But yeah, widely available at 16%. He has 4 points in his last 7. Kiefer Sherwood slipping into just go check territory, 50%. I mean, we all knew everything he was doing earlier in the season, completely unsustainable, except for the hits. The hits are still there, though. He's giving you about 4 hits a game. And Will Smith, probably the guy I would just go check on to see if he is available, because he's pretty glued to Macklin Celebrini there, who, I think he was ranked 3rd in the league. I had him on the season and just pretty much a ghost this week. So thanks, Macklin. You're slacking. Yeah, Will Smith, 50%, line 1, power play 1. And then to round this off, I mean, if anyone's got any questions in the chat, feel free to throw them in there. But round this off with goalies. So obviously, Penn's goalies, they're both pretty widely available. Skinner 45%, Arthur Shelob's 15%. I'd played the mature and risk though. Neither of them has been incredibly stellar. Big save Dave Riddick. The Islanders schedule is 2 back-to-backs. Not sure if I can recommend this one for quality though, as he only has 1 win/quality start in his last 3. Again, quality start, you beat league average, which I think it's slipped a little bit. I think it's even lower than like 897, which I saw at the beginning of the season. But yeah, I think the play here for goalies is to just go check and see which Blues goalies are available. Let's not delude ourselves though. Hofer, then Bennington by like a mile. But Bennington's actually been pretty good lately. 4 wins, 4 quality starts in his last 5. And those 4 good starts were all above a 920 save percentage. So just like elite Vezina numbers when he's on. I didn't check in the quality of competition though. That could impact things. But Joel Hofer, yeah, the guy to grab if you want like a volume/quality goalie this week. 7 wins, 7 quality starts in his last 9. I think like the one league where I'm actually moving on, I think, yeah, Hofer's gone, but Bennington still there. I'm trying to figure out how I make him fit because goalies can be very high risk, high reward in this league. But yeah, that's really it. I think probably the only other team kind of worth mentioning here, if you want some streams, Vancouver. Again, they got Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I really don't like their quality of competition. Even if he held them through the end of the week, I mean, they face Utah. I mean, they're just not great. I mean, if you can get Elias Pettersson, that's your best shot at any kind of scoring out of that stream. But yeah, I mean, maybe a Brock Besser would be the other person to get there. And I think, man, what do they check real quick? Because I can't remember who's been. I actually think Pettersson's line 2. Yeah, they've actually had Marco Rossi as quote line 1. But yeah, Philip Hronek, power play 1. Again, pure schedule play. Not sure someone I really am interested in streaming from. I'd rather try to see if I could get those Blues top line guys. See if I can shake the tree and get anything from Colorado. But yeah, Pens. Yeah, it's just so many other teams I would rather draw from than Vancouver there. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. No questions in the chat here. Again, this schedule's pretty straightforward. Again, all week long, we're Discord, Twitter, hit us up if you got lineup questions. My phone's been going off a lot lately, helping people via DM. So again, you just worried about doxing yourself, posting publicly, slide into our DMs. But yeah, good luck everyone. And hopefully again, if your league goes into next week, hopefully you're still here next week. But yeah, good luck and take care of yourselves and each other.
Adios, turd nuggets.